In preparation for this video, I read the top 5 books on human psychology. I interviewed 4 university professors specializing in philosophy and psychology. And I also used ChatGPT. And after 38 grueling minutes of research, I compiled this list of 13 psychological ways to become more attractive. From experience, these tips work very well with women, but not only that, they work on men too, in the professional world, in the recreational world, in the social world. You name it, they work. So take note and use these tools at your own risk. First one on the list is parroting. Parroting is mostly used in conversation. You know, you're talking to someone and they just finish a statement. Parroting is when you repeat the last few words that they said, much like the bird a parrot would do, right? So how it could look in, you know, a social situation, in a conversation setting is maybe the girl says, "Oh, I had a super busy day." And you, in response, just repeat the last few words she said. You say, "Super busy day," with a question mark at the end of it. This shows that you are displaying a focused listening to what they're saying. You're comprehending it, but also you're looking for more, right? It gets them to open up and talk more about themselves. And here's a little secret for you. Everybody loves talking about their favorite thing themselves, right? So repeat the last few words that they said. "Oh, I have a lot of studying to do." A lot of studying to do. "Oh yeah, I got this big tab, blah, 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 blah." Number 2, the halo effect. If you watch this channel regularly at all, you know I talk about this a lot. The halo effect is when you excel in one thing, but then people look at this thing and extrapolate it to you as a whole. For instance, if you're a really good musician, they might also think that you're intelligent and nice and skilled and all these other things, right? And more attractive in general. Or one place we see this a lot is like NBA players. They're so good at this one thing that we think they're like these great people and so cool and probably nice, and these guys are not even good looking, but yet they're pulling like the hottest chicks. Of course, there's like social status and stuff, which we'll get into later, but halo effect. If you are in the top echelon of one realm, whether it's intelligence, humor, even attraction, right? Being good looking, people are also going to assume that you have a good personality. You can absolutely use this to advantage. Now, of course, this is probably the hardest to actually achieve, because to be at the very top level of any realm is actually quite difficult. But maybe if you do by chance, you're watching this and you're the world's greatest underwater basket weaver, then use that to your advantage, bro. Number 3 is the Tej Hanley effect. All right, busted. This one is not an actual psychological trip, but we gotta take a second to shout out the sponsor of today's video over at Tej Hanley. Guys, here's a little secret for you. Without the sponsor of these videos, this channel would lose money. You know, with all the expenses I pay to the editors and this, that, the other, it would straight up lose money. So we need these sponsors. So remember, supporting the sponsor supports this channel. I've been working with Tej Hanley since the very beginning. I was showing their product before they even did a sponsor post or anything like that. So you know this is real, this is authentic, right? I've been using them for the longest time, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Tej Hanley is a subscription-based skincare product. How it works is you go on their website, you pick which level you want to start with. If you have no idea where to start, I recommend just trying Tej Level 1, which comes with a morning and evening moisturizer, a daily face wash, and an exfoliating scrub. You sign up and then it'll be delivered to your door each and every month without you even having to move a muscle. Guys, it's super, super important to start caring for your skin early, because the dangerous UV rays from the sun are gonna do this to your skin. So you wanna get ahead of that and start protecting yourself as early as you can. And lucky for you, Tej's morning moisturizer has SPF 20 in it, so they got you shielded from those dangerous sun rays. But yeah, guys, you know how this works. I get a deal, so you know what that means. You guys get a deal too. You can just click the link down below, use my code, and get 40% off of your first box, and then 20% off for life. That's right. 20% off for life. That's a crazy deal. So click the link down below and check them out. Okay, moving on. Number 4 is smile more. I feel like that was kind of creepy, but yeah, you get the point. Smiling a lot makes you just come off as friendly, approachable, attractive, and overall just a positive energy, right? No one wants to be around this brooding asshole, even if he's the best looking guy in the world, right? You're not Thomas Shelby, okay? So smile. And we can even, you know, expand this. Just be expressive, right? People like being around people that have life in them. So have some life, you know, live life, have fun, and smile, okay? You're not a This ain't Game of Thrones where you have to be standing on the side of a cliff brooding and always watching your back, right? Life is meant to be lived, so live it. Number 5 is subtle mirroring, also known as the chameleon effect. People are naturally drawn to people who kind of mimic their body language, their tonality, their speech, and their overall gestures. So if you can kind of mimic people in little subtle ways, it's actually gonna work to your advantage, and they're gonna think you're kind of like them, and people like people that are like them, right? You don't often see two complete polar opposites hanging out. You know, you don't see the goth girl with the cheerleader, right? Now, this doesn't mean to totally copy them, but it kind of just means you need to be able to assimilate to their vibe, you know, their energy, and maybe the way that they move about the world. If they're kind of bouncy and taking up space, and you're over here like a fucking nerd with your notebook, right? It might not gel as much as you would hope, right? So basically what I take from this is just kind of get on their wavelength, get on their frequency. I feel like I'm super duper good at this. I can kind of like assimilate to any crowd. All right, number 6 is you're unavailable. You could be the hottest girl in the world or the hottest guy in the world, but if you're always available, you're always texting right back immediately, sending multiple texts, and the other person feels like they could have access to you at any given time, this is not doing you any favors, bro. You need to leave some space for mystery. Let them kind of connect the dots themselves. Like, you know how it is when you text a girl that you like and you're kind of waiting a couple hours to hear back, and you're like, oh man, what's going on? Is she still into me? You feel the kind of attraction building. If she's hitting you right back every single time from the very jump, she's like calling you on the phone and sending you videos and stuff, you're like, ah, damn, what's wrong with this chick? Does she not have a life? Does she not have other options? So kind of like, you know, not being super hard to get, but just being hard to get in general is definitely gonna help out. Next is the pratfall effect. Being too perfect is definitely intimidating. So making some small endearing mistakes, yeah, I know it's a really tough problem to have. It's like so hard being just like too perfect. So for those of you out there that are watching that struggle with this affliction of being, you know, too perfect, making small endearing mistakes, such as like laughing at yourself a little bit, can make you more relatable and attractive and have people kind of put their guard down around you. I always give this advice: if you're a really attractive guy, this kind of like cocky, funny attitude that works for average looking guys, it doesn't quite work for you. It comes off as asshole-ish. That's a word. I looked it up. So it works better for you to kind of be self-deprecating, you know, make little jabs and jokes at your own expense, right? For example, if you mess up your words, be like, God, be nice if I could talk, right? Get people kind of like take the edge off a little bit. People are always on edge a little bit and on their best behavior around the most attractive, perfect people, right? So if you can get people to like chill out a little bit, that's gonna make you more attractive in turn. Number 8 is status and social proof. We talk about this all the time. I don't feel like I need to explain it really, but I'll touch on it real quick. Being seen as valuable in social setting, having friends, having pre-approval from other women, you know, other women hanging around, it makes you come off as being well-liked and non-threatening, which is super attractive. Number 9, this shouldn't be a shocker. It's scent and hygiene. Having BO and musk is not gonna do you any favors, bro. You wanna have a nice fresh smell. So smells like vanilla, lavender, or more masculine scents like oaky, woodsy, and I don't know, fucking metal, rust. Nah, I'm just kidding. But having a nice smell, taking care of your hygiene is definitely gonna help out, especially if you just walk by a girl and you ruminate this amazing smell, whether it's from your cologne or just your overall, you know, cleanliness. It's gonna stand out a little bit, okay? I made a whole video on how to always smell good all the time. I recommend checking that out after this video, not before, after, okay? Because trust me, you do not want to miss these last 4. Next is eye contact. Making strong but natural eye contact can create an atmosphere of intimacy and trust, making you more appealing. When you're having trouble looking someone in the eyes, you're always looking at the next best thing, looking around the room, looking at, you know, your toe fungus. It comes off as insecure. It comes off as beta male, okay? So confidently look people in their eyes. I like to sometimes give them a little squint when they're talking to me so they think I'm really focusing, really taking in what they're saying, and they're just loving that I'm giving them so much attention, right? Makes them feel so good about themselves. One other pro tip, if you're like looking at a girl in the gym or library or whatever, and she turns and your eyes connect, she catches you looking at her, don't panic and dart away and try to look at something else. Just, Either one, just smile at her, or just slowly start looking away at something else. Don't panic. That's the worst thing you could do. Next, positive confirmation bias. Okay, confirmation bias is when we subconsciously search for things that confirm our previous theories. So like if I think that the earth is flat, I'm gonna be always looking at the things that are gonna confirm to me that the earth is flat, when in reality there's a ton of evidence that it's obviously not, right? So positive confirmation bias is when we're looking at all the positive confirmation that suits us. And one of the best things is assuming attraction, right? I'm gonna assume that people like me or are attracted to me, you know, because it's only gonna work in your favors if you're going out to the bars and the clubs and you're assuming that everybody thinks you're ugly and that you suck and you're stinky and whatever, right? You're gonna kind of create that within yourself, and it's gonna be kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. But if instead you assume attraction, you assume positivity, you assume people like you, you see a couple talking across the street and they're looking over at you, you're assuming that you're talking about how good your style is or how cool you look, right? Assume positivity, okay? And this will help you subconsciously. 12, say people's name and say it often. People love hearing their own name because it makes them think that you take them seriously and you kind of value them more. This is super duper useful. I used to use this all the time when I worked in sales. You'd say, hey, listen, Mark, I want to hear from you. What do you find to be valuable about this product? Mark, how do you think this would make your life easier, right? Yeah, thanks for sharing, Mark. That's huge. I appreciate you opening up. How do you want to move forward from here, right? Say people's name and say it often. This is like a cheat code. And last but not least, the final one on this particular list is the Benjamin Franklin effect. Okay, the Benjamin Franklin effect, I have no idea how I got this name, but basically this means people like you more when they do small favors for you. And it can be super small things. Hey man, can you send me that link you were talking about earlier? Or hey Jessica, I'm out of town. Would you mind driving by my house and just making sure everything looks okay? Asking somebody for a tiny favor can make them feel way more connected to you. It makes them feel valuable and it makes them feel helpful. And that's one of the main things we as humans want in this life. We just want to be useful. So if you can give that to somebody, then that's making a huge statement. That's building a big bridge between you guys. So don't be afraid to ask people for favors. The worst thing they could say is no, but subconsciously they'll even be happy that you thought of them in the first place. So it can only help in the long run. Hope you guys enjoyed this list. If you haven't already, like this video and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.